Among Lionhearts podcast, where we dare to have Moxie for what matters. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Julia, and we are your new loudmouth, change-making do-gooder best friends, here to embolden you to take more action, risk, and heart towards creating a more just, equitable, and brave world.
Yes, if you are looking to attract your dream social media followers, maintain and grow the relationships with your online audience, mobilize followers into true advocates of your cause, then this is the episode for you.
All right, we are so passionate about helping do-gooders. It is the foundation of our marketing business, and we want to see more causes and more nonprofits have the same world-class marketing as any other business. And with our limited resources, that's not always the case. And so we're here to change that. And part of changing that is making access to social media and the secrets behind social media and the secrets between with content marketing much more available to anyone who's doing good in the world. So today we are going to be sharing some trade secrets. Usually you only get these secrets by like buying courses or by going to college and or just getting in the trenches and learning it the hard way. Yeah. Experience. So we're joining our 30 years of combined marketing and business experience, and we're teaching you some of the creme de la creme of the social media secrets. So yeah, we're pretty excited about this episode today.
Yeah, we in starting our business, we really just were determined that we wanted to help nonprofits, big and small. And so we wanted to make our podcast and our blog a resource for smaller nonprofits where they can go and learn steps, ways to improve their marketing, to improve their messaging. And that way, once they're big enough, if they are looking to partner with somebody, we would be available. But it really is a dedicated part of our mission to be able to help as many causes as we possibly can. So Julia, let's go ahead and get started because there's a lot of material in this one, and we had a little bit of trouble keeping our podcast lengths down. So we're going to really try and breeze through this without losing the importance of anything in here. So why don't you start us off, Julia? Will you tell us how do we attract people's attention through social media?
Yeah, so first part of your social media marketing plan is we just got to attract people. We gotta, in the noisy world of social media, how do you stand out? And there's 3 ways that you can stand out, especially as a charity or as a cause that you're going to want to start utilizing. And one we've talked about a lot in the previous episode, and that is bold positioning and authenticity. You've got to, you've got to be willing to lose the wrong followers to gain the right ones. And that means like all of your followers, they take up a certain amount of your attention. You want to really foster that relationship. So they take up space. And there's a limited amount of that space. So you don't want the limited amount of space that you have to connect with your audience and your donors and your supporters to be taken up by people who don't actually really want to be there. So be super selective, narrow that audience down. Don't be afraid to put off or say something wrong or say something too bold just because it's not going to please everyone. That actually doesn't work for you, it works against you. So get really brave about your messaging. Another little secret to that is like, make your first sentence in all of your content a wow sentence. Think like headliner. Don't ever start any of your content with, we want to thank, or we're so thankful. People know your nonprofit and your charity is thankful. So what happens when you start anything with like thank you or anything that's like gratitude oriented is people have heard these sentences so many times, their brain just quickly fills it in and they move on. Nobody reads past thank you sentences or thank you sections. So don't do that. Start with your big bold sentence. Hey, we're doing this. You need to pay attention to this in this way. So So be thinking of your content in that way of like a headline or sentence, or like how you see like newspapers, short and sweet, straight to the point. Another way to like attract someone's attention to your social media post is think about like what's popular, what's going on right now, what's the hot topic, are there movements that connect with your movements, is there something, the temperature of a certain cause, or that's on people's mind, is that relevant? Be paying very, very close attention what is on the news. Be paying really close attention to the political climate. There's actually a special term used for an election year, because charities and nonprofits actually do very, very well during an election year, because people are really feeling passionate about causes and things that are really important to them, because that gets stirred up a lot in an election year. So utilize those election years, be posting solid stances in some of those places. It actually works for you, not against you. So I think like curate content around those. Try to be one of the first people to get in on those hot topics. Don't shy away from them. And then you want to also phrase things in a way and create campaigns in a way that kind of feel like if people aren't participating, they're missing out. And that looks like little things like setting end dates to your campaigns. Don't extend your campaigns because they're getting really popular. You actually lose trust that way. And like just set an amount limit. Anytime you can limit your campaigns in any ways, or your content, is going to kind of establish that missing out on a really neat opportunity to serve and get involved. So those are my tips for getting that first bold attention. Hello, it's me. You want to join me on social media? And now we're going to go into, Michelle, why don't you tell them what we're going to go into?
Yeah, so a fun way that we thought that we could help everybody just kind of really connect with this message, right? Because there's a lot of information here, is by talking about a way to relate this in your life. So we would really like for you to think about attracting people's attention on social media by trying to be that really fascinating person at a party that you would attend, right? You walk in, you're looking around the room, you're a little anxious about having to mingle and, not spilling things on your clothes, but you look across the room, you see this person with these fabulous shoes, or maybe they're wearing this awesome sweater, and it's like bold, and it just kind of speaks to you, and that person walks up to you, and they you get a chance to talk to them, and they just kind of have their finger on the pulse. They're really talking about things that matter, things that are important. It's not the same old like rehearsed how are you, I'm fine, how are you conversation, but like really people who are interested in engaging with you. That person, you remember that person after you leave the party. You remember them and you talk about them to other people. They're not everybody's cup of tea, right? Some people are going to walk in the door and see that yellow sweater, and they're going to be like, whoa, that's a little much. And that's okay, because they're not looking to be everybody's cup of tea. And if you can have that kind of confidence about your message, your mission, your cause, really, we talked about it in our last episode, and we really want you to kind of get in that mode of remembering that even though you're a nonprofit, even though you're not focused on profit, you are providing a very valuable thing for people who have, rat race type careers. They commute back and forth to work, and they're busy raising their kids. They don't have time to really get involved in causes like this all the time. So you're really giving them this opportunity to get in and be a part of something really incredible. And that's what you need to do to reframe what your mission is and what you're doing. You're giving people an opportunity be loud about that, be excited about that. And
a lot of people think nonprofits and charities and causes aren't selling anything, but they absolutely are. They're selling a feeling. And actually everyone is selling a feeling. So think about the feeling that you're trying to sell, or the feeling that you want, the vibe you're giving off on your party. Okay. Because that's what they're there for. They're there for your vibe. That's what you're actually selling them, right?
You're selling involvement.
Yeah. I just love that.
Everybody wants to be a part of something, right? So if you can help people become a part of something and make them feel included, that's really going to draw them in and really going to, make them stick with your organization. So we're going to jump into the next one, and we're going to talk now about secrets to sustaining the attention that you've earned once you've made your mark and you've got some people following you. Tell us a little bit more about that, Julia.
Yes. There's 3 secrets to sustaining attention. So you're bold and you're brave and you've attracted people and they've become your followers, or they've liked your page, or they've saved your link. They're checking you out. How do you get them to stay? How do you grow that relationship? And there's 3 ways to do that. And 1 is consistency and reliability. 2 is through generosity. And 3 is through engagement. So first, consistency and reliability. There's actually a psychology behind being super reliable and consistent with your audience and your supporters. And one of those ways is like kind of creating a rhythm with them. If they have a schedule with you, if they have a rhythm with you, you're at the top of their mind. If you're posting consistently every other day, your audience knows that, and they'll start feeling that. They'll start get this like internal clock that on like Wednesday, oh, they know your organization is about to post something and they can't wait to hear about it. And they just feel it. They start just feeling it in their bodies and their minds, and it brings you at the top of their minds every couple of days, because you're creating a rhythm with them, just like you would like your organization and with your team or with your family. Like the more things you can schedule that are just consistent,
things that become routine.
Yes, they actually don't have to have so much brain space to remember it. It just becomes automatic to them. That's what you want. You want to harness that power of automation. Okay, another way to like create that reliability and consistency is through traditions. Did you know that your organization can create traditions with your supporters? Yes, and it's vital. It's very, very vital. And what kind of some of the traditions you can make, I think Michelle like touched on this a little bit. One of the traditions you can create with your audience is like annual events, your gala, or like a golf tournament or something. Have something every single year, an event that they're joining in. That can even be an online event where you're hosting a live party or giveaway, or just a speaker. Like every year you have a speaker come talk. Just as long as it's same time every year, you're creating that tradition with them. Also be thinking of like holidays your audience is going to be interested in. Like depending on your niche, different holidays and different, donut day might not apply to all supporters, but there's a nonprofit out there that it will appeal to, and an audience that it will appeal to. So be aware of those special dates and create those traditions and do them every year. So yeah, you're creating like an internal clock, an internal reminder with your audience. Is pretty cool. And then I think, that's it on that. Is it create? Let's see. Oh, and then there was the create. Yeah, sorry. On my notes, there was a create regular characters with your content.
Yes.
That's super important. So say there's like a couple of people in your organization, or you're serving certain people, find people that you can regularly post about. Like find like if you have like a director who is really great on camera and can really, speak to your audience, feature that person regularly over and over again. Definitely don't make that your only person. Think of it as like your crew, or like what is it in like movie terms, but you have a whole set of characters that constantly like you see in each episode, but that doesn't mean you don't have to have like guest starring roles or anything like that. But yeah, repeat the characters so that your audience is getting familiar with you and connecting more with your characters. And then, yeah, it just humanizes, puts a face on your organization, features some of the people you're serving too, if they're comfortable with that. And it's very much like the cool DJ at the party. And the DJ everybody wants, you know, they're the hype up person. They're like, oh, look, so-and-so's back on. We love so-and-so. We want to see them more, you know. It's just that extra energy to your party. So, and then Michelle's going to talk about generosity and how powerful generosity is for causes.
Yeah, generosity, you know, is really important. I think we're encouraging you to be like super confident, and we also want to encourage you to be generous in a lot of ways, generous of thought, specifically in relation to 3 secrets of sustaining attention that you've earned. We're talking about generosity and collaborating with like-minded organizations. If you get into, you know, scarcity mindset, which is something we did talk about in our last podcast episode. So if you've not seen it, go back, listen to that, maybe scroll through some of the resources available there too. But if you get into scarcity mindset, then you might feel like you are competing with like-minded organizations. You know, you might feel like you don't want to share methods or secrets or things with other organizations because you're in competition with them. And the truth of the matter is that if you can find a way to involve other organizations who are like-minded, maybe not directly, you know, competing with you, because there is a competition element. It's just about not letting that competition element get so big that you forget to be generous. If you have a lot of attention and there's a young up and coming organization that does something that's kind of similar or supports the people you support in a different way than you do, sharing a little bit of your audience, sharing a little bit of space with them can really reflect really well on your organization. It will help you appear as a leader within your niche, right? If you are getting to a certain level and then you're reaching down and you're helping other organizations come up, that establishes you as somebody who has the capability of that. People like organizations that are generous. You're asking them to be generous, so they want you to be generous. And it absolutely doesn't have to be your number one thing, but I would highly recommend that you evaluate, are there other organizations who are helping these same people in a different way, a way that we've not decided to provide help, something that we couldn't focus on because of the way that ours was structured, and really see what you can do to help them. And then our third secret in here, Julia's going to come back and talk about it. We're going to talk about engagement.
Yes, engagement. I just have to stay with that last one. Like, remember, your audience are generous people. They're very generous. Obviously, generosity is super valuable to them. It's one of their key values, and they're going to want to see that in you. And if they don't see it in your organization, that is a huge turn off to them. And they're going to find an organization that is generous. So you got to internalize it. All right. Engagement. So how do we get your audience engaged? Because when they're engaging with you, they're going to remember you longer if they've interacted with you in some way. So simple ways to do that is reply to all of the comments that you get, all the messages and the personal messages that you get. Reply to every single one of them. They make that a rule. Another idea is interact with them on their pages and on their groups, and meet them where they're at. And get on there. Don't be posting things like promotional things when you're posting on their pages. They're going to have a link to that. Your little icon is they click on that and they're going to go straight to you. So don't worry about that. Just engage with them on a real authentic level. And that's going to speak way more volumes to them than you just trying to pitch what you do. And then we have give your audience and your supporters that behind the scenes look.
Yes.
Be thinking of ways to like share your successes and your failures and your goals and how your goals are going, update them regularly, share about your staff, share about your team, share about the people who are on the ground that you're serving and helping, and be thinking of that. A lot of people think you have to have this carefully curated content that is professional. I feel like that's a dirty word. I don't like another word I don't like is professional. Yeah. And they don't. What's happened, what we're seeing a trend in the last couple of years is people are sick of that curated perfect stuff. They're done with it. They want to see the raw stuff. They want to see the stuff filmed on a phone. They want you to just talk to them and share with them like a real person. So yeah, utilize that. And then we have polls and testimonials. Be sure to use polls and testimonials. Send quizzes out to your audience. Ask them questions that have to do with what you're doing. Ask them what they'd like to see more of. Regularly do polls, and then share those results with them too. They're going to feel like they're a part of your team. Anything you can do to make them feel like they're not just a supporter, but they're on your side, driving your cause forward. That's what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
All right.
So to bring this back and again help cement this a little bit of an anecdote. Instead of thinking about these three secrets, right? Once we've gained attention, once we're sustaining attention, we're going to flip that. And we're going to say this is not about being the interesting person at the party primarily anymore. Still do that, right? Build that first, and then as time goes on, once you've gained these followers, the thing you can do is you're going to become the hostess with the mostest. It's about you're that person who has that party every year that nobody, that everyone waits for, that everybody automatically knows when it's coming around. Oh my gosh, so-and-so's 4th of July party is coming up, right? You're in the end of May, summer starting, and you think, oh my gosh, I love that party we have every summer with so-and-so. That's that consistency and reliability really leads into that unconscious, trigger in people's brains that they remember you because you have events that they can get involved in and be a part of. Generosity, right? If you're the hostess with the mostest and you hear about Susan not being able to have her party this year, what are you going to do? Are you competing for guests? Well, hopefully not. But, maybe you reach out to Susan. Maybe you say, you know what, Susan, I'm so sorry that you can't have your cookie party that you have every year. Why don't you combine your cookie party with my Christmas party? Bring your cookies, or we can bring some of those traditions from your party into my party this year. Let's make this a space for both of us. And the hostess with the mostest ends up looking like a rock star because she is.
Your party is about your guest, right? Like the hostess with the mostest isn't the one up on the stage. It's the one getting people drinks and showing people where the bathroom is, and making everyone feel
really just cultivating this experience for the people who are along for the ride, the people who show up to the party, right? Engagement, you want to be the hostess that's walking around the room. Nobody remembers a host that doesn't, show up or thank people for coming. I know that I've been to parties before where the host hasn't been able to get around to me, and it does leave you with the feeling of like, am I important? You want to make those people feel important and make them feel important by replying to their comments on your page, but also make them feel important if you have the time and the bandwidth to really focus on your social media. Have somebody, check out what somebody who's commented on your page 3 or 4 times, what are they doing? What's on their page? Have they commented on anything else? Is it anything that you can get interested in? Is it anything that you might have something encouraging to say about? Be that person, because people remember that person and they unconsciously get excited about coming to your events all the time. So if you can be the hostess with the mostest when it comes to sustaining the attention that you gained from being the life of the party, then you're just going to draw people in. So with that, we're going to move on to, unless you had
really
something,
quickly,
what do you have to add?
Yeah. I just love this. I love this whole anecdote thing. And it's just such a great way to frame things. I just think like when you leave a really great party or event, like you don't remember all the details and you don't remember word for word what everybody said during that party. What you do remember is how you felt at that party. And that's the same thing with interacting with your supporters. Is they're going to remember how you make them feel on your social media and in all of your interactions. That's what's really going to stay with them.
Yes.
All right.
Moving forward, we're going to talk now about our third major topic for today's podcast, and that is converting people from lurkers, prospective donors and supporters into contributors. Lurkers. How do you get people who are kind of following along? They're interacting with you. You're getting some engagement out of them. How do you turn those people into the people who show up for you, the people who volunteer at your events, the people who donate to your cause, the people who have the birthday fundraiser to benefit your cause? Let's talk about a few ways that we can do that, Julia.
I love that. Okay, so 3 ways we're going to talk about how to convert followers into advocates. 1, utilize your engagement to convert people to real advocates. And one way you can do that is just coming up with really, really small ways to get them involved, like super tiny. Just ask them to like share. That's all you're asking. You want them to just reshare this post. Super simple. It's going to mean a lot to you and it's going to really help create awareness. So start with small tasks like that. There's a much higher rate of those people turning into supporters and donors down the line when they've done something for you. So find ways to have people do things for you, your supporters do things for you. And another way is just be really, really direct about your ask. Don't take a whole post to like tell people what you need them to be, and be very direct about your call to action. And then we have reach out to your supporters directly. Once they become one of your followers, once they like your page, you're able to personally message them and utilize that, and make sure you're not just like writing a general message to them. Make sure it's customized to them, and reach out to them and ask them to do things specifically. You can start with like, I wanted to personally reach out to you and ask if you'd be willing to help in this way. And also tell them what them helping is going to actually do, like what the results is going to do and why it's important that they help you, and make it just really, really simple and really custom. And you're going to have a lot of success with that. And then we have number 2 about being kind of that cool girl at the party. The cool girl is not the guy hanging from the chandelier and causing a whole scene, right? The cool girl is the one that's really interested in you and what you have to say and is genuinely curious about you. So what that looks like in social media is make all your messaging boosting your supporters. Give them the credit. Be generous. Talk to them like they're the hero of your story and your cause, because really you couldn't do that without them. And also, when you talk to them, just watch your assumptions, because you need to go in there with the attitude and the assumption that these people already want to talk to you. Your supporters are ready. They want to be a part of a really good cause. They need more purpose in their life, and you're giving them the opportunity to do something really cool that they already want to do. So be sure to use all of your messaging and your communication with that mindset. And then thirdly, the very last thing to like really get those people converted over to advocates is establish an immediate need. A lot of campaigns do really, really well when you can make it project-based instead of just general donations. When you can come up with a solid project that's really, really great and really appealing and say, hey, like, help us get the funding for this very specific thing. And we need this funding completed by this certain date. We believe you can do it. So anytime you can create an immediate need and communicate that, you're going to have a lot more engagement and a lot more people like jumping in. So those are the three secrets to converting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then coming back to our party metaphor,
Yes.
this is about turning your avid guests, the ones who show up every year, into your setup crew. I know we have dear friends who throw some awesome parties, and we love to show up early for the party and help set up tables and chairs. We love to stay late and make sure that we are, washing dishes. Nobody wants that hostess to be the only one in there at the end of the night doing dishes. So this is that part where you feel so involved and feel so a part of this wonderful event that somebody is kind enough to share with you and allow you to be a part of, that you really want to give back. And even if it's small, it's something, it starts out as, hey, do you mind taking home some of this food, because I don't even have room in my fridge for it. As that host, you're asking them to do something little, and maybe that taking home food so that you don't have to store it in your fridge, a couple years down the line, becomes people who are showing up, people who are helping with parts of the event. Maybe somebody's in there that can contribute in a special way to your event. And how would you ever know if you're not really engaging with people on this level? So did we have anything else to add to that last little party metaphor there, Julia?
No, I love that. I love the whole party theme. Make it fun. I know that your causes can be really serious and they can be really hard, and that's okay to show those. But like, there's so much beauty in any place that you look, and no matter how hard your cause is, you can still make elements of fundraising and joyful and meaningful for everyone. So think of ways to make it fun and mix in the serious stuff with the fun, and you've got it. So we can go on these topics like all day long. There's so many different ways to do these things. And it was really hard to narrow them down into something we could fit into one podcast, but we are going to be diving much deeper into these subjects as our podcasts go on and giving you even more ideas. So keep listening, keep tuning in, and hopefully you're not going to be disappointed, because we're going to just keep sharing all of these incredible resources that, just for free. We just want you to thrive.
And please, we love engagement. Obviously, we advocate for engagement a lot. So please, comment, let us know. Do you have any specific questions about our little party metaphor? How does this look? We would love to have an opportunity to chat with people. So please feel free to comment. Also, we are working on starting our monthly do-gooder feature, which is where we are going to do a month-long feature on one nonprofit. We're really, really hopeful that we can connect with a couple of nonprofits that might be open to letting us interview them for one of our podcasts. And so we need some nominations for that. If you know of a really awesome cause that you think would kind of resonate with our messaging, we would love for you to nominate them, and we will be happy to reach out and share with everybody on our podcast and in our audience the wonderful things that they are doing. And our weekly hype up message, we've got a little message to wrap up with today, and I really, really love this one. It's just a reminder to our do-gooders, to our non-profiteers. Make sure that you are holding space for the people who will support your dreams and letting go of those who aren't ready to share in your journey. Julia, will you sign us off for the day?
Yes. Among Lionhearts is a socially conscious marketing agency where we specialize in social media management and influencer marketing for the unique needs of social enterprises and charities. Let our team of experts manage your social media workload for you so you can get back to doing more good. Remember, every small act of courage, no matter how small, is not actually small at all. You, my dear, are standing among the Lionhearts.